Hey guys, so I want to show a gameplay of the Kerrigan, and I've played Kerrigan a couple times, but I really wanted to show you the potential of Kerrigan on someone who plays a lot of Kerrigan. So this is in the perspective of Mindhawk, who's a level 50 Kerrigan, over 55% win rate in Grandmasters LMR, and he's playing with a couple other people that are decent ranked. I mean, Enigmatic's on there. The other team still there's high ranked players on the other team as well. Myself, Master Grandmaster, Sleazer, Strider are both master players, so it's a pretty decent MMR game to watch as Kerrigan. I make a lot of mistakes this game as Kerrigan, which is why I'm not showing my perspective. I wanted to show someone who's actually very good at Kerrigan and show what the full potential of this new Kerrigan rework is, rather than showing someone who just is fumbling around like an idiot on Kerrigan. So to start off, the build that he's going is Fury of the Swarm, which makes it to where you gain more Assimilation Shield from basic attack damage, and after you use Ravage, your next two basic attacks splash. It's a small radius, but it's still a decent splash. If you're going to pull people into your W, you're likely going to be able to land the splash on everyone who gets pulled in there. It's not too bad against heavy frontline either. So you see just the basic Kerrigan combos going in, the W's, and then the enemy starts running away. It's the E that pulls them back in. So quick QWE pretty much always lands a combo on someone who's trying to run away. And he's pretty decent at landing those. I was playing Kerrigan and I was trying to die before the Brightwing jumped in on me, but I should have just tried to escape. The Brightwing would have saved me. A little bit of an awkward fight here. You can see how much shield you can get in the build that he's in. So what he does is he's playing Kinetic Fulmination. What happens is the more damage you deal to enemies, you'll stack up the damage so that your next W deals up to 150% more damage. He likes this build because it adds a lot of burst to the capability. So during fights, you're building up the capability of really dropping someone. You saw the 550 damage right there, and it wasn't even fully stacked. It only had a few stacks on it, and it was a quick, huge amount of burst. Now imagine that in a team fight. You're someone who can poke around a lot in a team fight. You can get a lot of auto attack damage off, get a lot of shield from Maelstrom, and then suddenly you can do just a huge chunk of like 1,000 damage to someone. So again, a big fight, a huge chunk of damage by the W, which also gave a huge shield onto the Kerrigan as well, because he's still getting the shield from Assimilation. So every time he gets that huge chunk of damage on a bunch of people, he's also getting this giant shield. It's really, really powerful. The level 7, you will see he likes to pick up, I believe, Bladed Momentum. Yeah, he goes Bladed Momentum. Again, he's buffing up the damage of his W so much, he wants to keep landing Ws off more and more in team fights, which includes possibly getting Bladed Momentum rolling so that he gets more off of that. We're going to fast forward just a tad. He wants to go for the combo, but there's that Diva Bomb. I missed that. He didn't even have the stacks on it, so it was kind of a bold attempt anyways, and he's low on mana, so. And you gotta remember, this is PTR, we're all practicing the heroes as much as we can, and we might be doing things that are a little strange because we want to see if it works. We want to see what it's capable of. If you're jumping around on people, we want to know, how much can you survive through, I guess is the real question of it. And so a lot of what we're doing is just jumping in there and trying to just do whatever we can. We'll jump into a group of like 4 people and just see how much damage we can do. So once again, the full damage went off before the W. Unfortunately, the W didn't hit anyone, but you could see how that could have been really scary. And he's simply just getting... He was just getting his auto attacks off so you get the Impaling Blade going. If he can land this Impaling Blade, unfortunately he dies before it goes off. It would have been 616 damage to 2 targets, which would have been 1200 damage, a 15% shield. I mean, an extra 200 health shield right there probably would have kept him alive if you could have just gotten it off a tad earlier. Now you can see me playing Kerrigan on the other team getting kill after kill. And even right here, I jump away before the Tyrael bomb goes off. So she's pretty scary right now in general. I went the full Q build, which was fun, but wasn't really... I felt like I spent a lot of time trying to farm sharpened blades, and I was getting wrecked every time I tried to like go alone and farm sharpened blades. And in general, hopping around on a bunch of different targets to get the spell damage at 16 was okay, but then my damage was really split and not very impactful. This build that he's playing, I feel like it has really impactful damage. You can really jump on people, combo them, lower your cooldowns, and do a W to just blow up one person really quickly. So it's just really impactful damage. So we're going to speed up until level 10. Looks like he might go down again. Now that he's level 10, he goes Maelstrom. I believe he's tested this with both builds, though, and both builds ended up working out pretty well. But you can see the Maelstrom jumping in, especially with this build where you're already giving yourself shields, is pretty good. He backs away from the Sanctification, and then he steps away before the bomb goes off, getting his damage off, and once again, he's fully stacked on his W. So if he lands a W here, not only is it going to do a lot of damage, but it's also going to give him a big shield. Right there, he landed the W onto the Illidan, did a huge amount of damage, got a big shield, and he's just attacking the Illidan into the good Sanctification from the enemy, or sorry, from their team. And he's running out of mana. A huge W was able to take out the Kerrigan. It's just really impactful damage. We're going to fast forward through a little bit. Again, 700 damage from his W. It's crazy. Pops and ults. Now he's pretty much unkillable. Now he's just lowering his cooldowns of his auto attacks, trying to get that W going back again. A nice W, 700 damage to the Tyrael, as well as continuing the shield on. He's pretty much an off-tank right now, as much shield as he's getting. Doesn't really have the mana to follow up too much other than maybe a combo. So he's definitely scary. Now to look at the hero damage right now, you can see that the his damage is higher than everyone's, including an Azmodan, and it's he's really scary. Illidan's doing the most damage on the enemy team. I'm doing a pitiful amount of damage. I'm trying to farm a lot and getting caught while farming, so that's again why I'm not showing my gameplay here. But I also didn't play much Kerrigan before, so I haven't played a lot of games with Kerrigan. So I never really thought I was going to do that great. And playing against Master and GM players can be a little rough sometimes. And again, me off alone. So I went with the Chrysalis. He didn't go with the Chrysalis. He went with the more shield, but it doesn't last as long. So you can see he's quickly having a shield almost all these fights for the entirety of his health. He can just take whatever damage he wants to and survive through it because he's just out shielding everything. His shield is literally more than his full health. Like, it's crazy how much shielding he's doing. And with the extra auto attack shield from 1, even if he misses his combos, his auto attacks are still giving him a giant shield. So this 13 talent, as much as like on paper I was like, man, that 3 seconds isn't that good. It's a huge amount of shielding. I'm gonna fast forward to 16, see what he picks up at 16, which should be painful spikes. Yep. So that's the one that enemies hit by this. By his W, will take more damage from all of his other abilities and auto attacks. You can see how much damage he can really do. And if he does land a W on someone and he has his ult going, then they melt through him very, very quickly for the next 6 amount. It's pretty much an instant 1,000 damage because of those painful spikes. And again, like, he's getting so much shield, he doesn't even care. He could just seriously sit under the core because just the auto attacks alone are giving him enough shield to survive the core damage. There's a good Sanctification to counter the bomb. And he's just hopping on. Now, I will say that in this build, while you are probably the scariest in team fights, you do have some of the worst mana problems, as you're not getting a lot of refunds on your abilities, but I don't think that matters. Like, if you're blowing people apart this fast, who cares about if you run out of mana? You're just already really scary. Like there, like he even was able to get such a giant shield from that. Look how much he's surviving through a Kerrigan and an Illidan. It's unreal. So that volatile power, painful spikes. This whole build, you're definitely an off tank. If you're not CC'd immediately, you are definitely an off tank. Great sanctification by the team. Immediately hopping around, uses a hop to get out of the range, but honestly, he just takes the hit from the bomb and doesn't even care about it. The enemy sanctification didn't really get any value, and you can see just if you don't focus the Kerrigan down first, the Kerrigan's going to have so many shields. Taking a peek at the damage numbers, we're seeing the Kerrigan passing 100,000 damage. So not only is it very sustained damage and very hard to kill, but also with the level 4 talent, you have the capabilities of doing a lot of burst and very impactful damage. But the mana problems is where this becomes kind of an issue, is if you don't have enough mana to be able to throw Ravages back and forth and still have mana, because he didn't want to use Ravages because he was afraid he wasn't going to have the mana for an Impaling Blades. So you can see that the mana is probably her biggest problem right now. And I don't think it's that big of an issue because it's just unreal. Like, the amount of damage that he's doing is absolutely unreal. And an auto attack build, I could see him going to Simulation Blades or Omega Storm. Even Psionic Shift could gain something, but we'll see what he ends up picking at level 20. He hasn't picked a talent yet. Okay, so he goes with the Simulation Blades. The reason that I thought this was going to be the pick is because you can stack it so fast. You pop your ult and you've instantly already grabbed it. I mean, so because you just need to damage enemies. So you pretty much instantly have it. Now he's already doing the 40% more damage from this. He's doing the extra damage from this. He's stacking up this. It's just crazy. So you can see he's auto-attacking people for 400 damage, as well as he's still getting damage off in other areas. Pretty much in this fight alone, he's already done 12,000 damage, 12,000 hero damage. It's crazy. And in that fight right there, he just did 3,000 damage. So it is, I think new Kerrigan right now is very scary. Is she overtuned? I personally believe she is. Can they fix her and make it to where her builds are all viable without being broken? Yeah, of course. So I definitely think they need to tone down a couple things, but in general, I think she's pretty cool. I think this is probably going to be, unless it's changed, this is probably going to be a pretty solid build. It's a lot of sustained damage, and it's also a lot of survivability, and it has burst. But I do think that there are some other possible builds that are still available, some variations of Q builds if you need to blow up backliners, or there's variations of the shield builds, which might be able to give you some maybe solo lane capabilities, or just maybe even more tankability, even if you get CC'd. So definitely a lot of things that gain potential, and just a really cool change. I think she's personally really fun right now. I think she definitely has more variety. Sure, she might be a little overtuned, but they'll work on that. They'll adjust the numbers a little bit, and I think this is a pretty good change. But I'd love to hear you guys' opinions down below. What do you think of the new Kerrigan? Do you think it fixed the problems that she had before? Does it give her any more areas where she could be played? Before, she was kind of just someone who would pick people off during rotations, and she couldn't really be a solo laner. I mean, she could be, but you lost a lot of potential on her. Now, I think that there's a possibility of her being a solo laner, but in general, she's still going to fill the same role she had before, but now she's going to be a little bit more bruisery than she was. Possibly a little bit more scary, too. So I'd love to hear what you guys think, and thank you all for watching. Feel free to check out any of my other videos.